Yeah, hit the record. Thanks, Bill. All right, and let me do something here. Okay, hello everyone.
Hello.
All right, we're going to kick it off with the Rotary motto. Service above
Service above
self.
Service above self.
And why don't we all go ahead, stand up?
Not you, Joan.
Yeah, not you, Joe.
Reggie, funny.
Let's recite the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag
of the United States
of America,
and to
and
the
the
republic
republic
which
which stands
one
one
nation,
nation under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Okay, and let's observe a moment of silence. Okay, thank you all. All right, remind you that we are recording. And Paul, we're going to kick it off with you, giving us the update on COVID. All good news, not all good news, but a lot of it.
Well, pretty much good news. The rate of COVID continues to fall and nicely in all the areas I follow. And there was some, random fluctuation. There was a huge drop in Accomack County. Less of a drop in Northampton County, but I think these are just random fluctuations. Cape Charles dropped from 16 new cases the week before to 9 last week, which is another nice drop. So things are looking good. It's easy to forget with these big drops, and we're way below the highs that we had a few weeks ago. But we're still at pretty high transmission levels. The Northampton County level is about 40 per 10,000 of new cases a week, which is 4 times the upper limit of high and the way CDC defines high transmission level. But if it continues to fall this rate, we should get down to the upper border, maybe dropping even into the moderate transmission range by early March. So I think we're still on target to be able to safely resume meetings March 1st as planned.
Thanks, Paul. And speaking of that, that is our goal. We want to get back together at the Coffee House on March 1. Of course, we're going to continue to keep an eye on everything. Hopefully we don't get any sudden reversals, but it looks like nationwide here, as well as other nations that went before us with the Omicron version of COVID, we're on track to follow their same pathway. And once the big drops started in those nations, it continued down to a point where a lot of those nations now are easing up or eliminating their mandates. So it sounds like we're getting close to that. I do see several states, and not to be political, but these are more Democrat states are dropping the mask mandates. States like California, Oregon, New York, Connecticut, and Delaware. Of course, Virginia did it a couple of weeks before, much to the consternation of some, but it looks like we're on track for much better times ahead. Plus the weather should be getting nicer as well. I do want to talk a little bit, or I want someone to talk a little bit about what we have in mind as far as, I don't want to call them rules, but our strong recommendations for when we do first meet. We do have things that we put together, And Paul, if you wouldn't mind, since you drafted
Yeah, I
what
got
we
that
all
list.
talked about.
And there it is. I got that list here.
Okay.
Yeah, we went over it last week, but let me go over it again. And I think Chuck plans to send this out to everybody very soon. The board decided that we would still require full vaccination of all attendees at the meeting. That means 2 doses of vaccine, although an up-to-date booster is also highly recommended. If you have any symptoms that could possibly be COVID, we ask that you not come, of course. And if you have been exposed to anybody with COVID within the past 5 days, and this is based on good data and standard recommendations now from the CDC. Even if you're vaccinated and you're exposed, you're not required to quarantine. Okay. And if you're going to get COVID, even an asymptomatic case, you're almost surely going to get within 5 days. So if you would please use one of the home tests, which are getting more readily available. We're supposed to be getting them in the mail. Still haven't gotten mine soon. Then we ask that if you are exposed within the previous 5 days, that you please self-test. You don't have to go to a doctor to test. You can use the home test. And just right before you come, or 5 days after exposure, to be sure you're still negative. And of course, if you're positive, don't come. We're going to discourage handshaking and encourage fist bumps. The rule passed was surgical face masks are recommended when you're not eating, and they'll be available at the door. We're going to buy some. Hand sanitizers are also recommended on entry and will be supplied by the club. None of these things are absolute requirements, except the 2 about having been exposed and having symptoms, except for the vaccination. When we get down to a low level of transmission in Northampton County, we can pretty much drop most of these requirements. So that's the plan. Those are the requirements.
As far as the meeting itself, of course, we want people to join us for a lunch. However, if you prefer, one of the things we're throwing out there is you can still sign up for the lunch, but if you don't want to take off the mask to eat it, you're very welcome to do a take home. So you can pick up the lunch, have it in the typical take home box that many restaurants have, and go ahead and take it home with you. So that is an option as well. Paul, why don't you discuss real quickly what the rules are going to be around meal costs?
Well, the board decided some time ago that when we do resume meetings, that all members will begin being charged for the meals, just as we had done before the pandemic, unless somebody makes a specific requirement to be non-participating or specific request. Now, we hope that those people will be a very small number, just as they were before the pandemic. We realize that some people may be acutely sensitive to COVID and may not want for the rest of this quarter, for example, at least to be participating. But we'll respect anybody's request to be non-participating, but we encourage everybody to participate so that the club won't take too big a hit on resuming these meetings, supplying lunches. We're guaranteeing 20 lunches. We're paying the coffee house $14 per lunch, and we're paying for 20 lunches at $14, even if 12 people show up. And if you do, assuming you don't make a request to be non-participating, then the lunches will only cost you $8 a lunch. So it's a really good deal. And the club will, of course, lose money on it. But that's okay. We've built up some reserve in our operating account. And we want to encourage people to come back and start eating lunches again. So the club is willing to suffer a loss for a while on that, at least the rest of this fiscal year. So that's the deal.
Okay, and correct me if I'm wrong, Paul, we are going to make available at the door as you come in hand sanitizer as well as masks if you don't
Correct.
have one with you, right? Okay.
Correct.
All right. Does anybody have any concerns or questions about any of this? We're looking at March 1, that's 2 weeks from today, to start our first meetings back up again, providing everything is going along the same way as it is right now with the drop-offs. Any questions or concerns? Okay. I will put this out in an email, what Paul just discussed. I'll send it to everybody. Of course, not all club members are here on this video, so we want to get that word out. And again, Paul, correct me if I'm wrong, we do agree we're going to have the board of directors. Someone will actually call you, as well as the people that aren't in the meeting right now and hearing this. We're going to call you and just kind of go over this briefly again and just ask you a simple question. Are you planning to come to our meeting? And if so, great. We'll mark it down. We'll listen to any questions you may have. But I do want to get this out in an email so you can see it in print. And if you have any thoughts or questions when we give you a call, you can bring it up.
Right.
Sound good to everybody? Okay. Thanks a lot, Paul.
Sure.
Just real quick, Jim Rich is now the president-elect. He will step into that role on July 1 of this year. And as such, he's the person now, if you have any suggestions for speakers for the club next week or 6 months from now, send them to Jim and he will contact those people. And make sure you do give him the contact person or email address or phone number or both if you have it, and he will get on that. And all right, projects. How about the invisible history efforts going on, Mehdi? You're on mute. Mehdi, you're on mute.
So I have new interviews on Vimeo for people to review. And I thought I had a very interesting interview with David, with Richard Press. He is a Black artist, and I was able to ask him for a donation for the art raffle. So he's well known in Norfolk. And anyway, so the interview, and Bill has an interview scheduled on Monday, I believe.
Okay, and you still have some good interactions going with the libraries and so forth, right?
Well, I met with Melinda McPeak to review what her involvement with our project is, and she's really very helpful. And she will start the process of applying for the Virginia Humanities Grant, because we really do need to fund a graduate student who can collate all of the interviews and write up the stories of each of the sites, and for the information to be on the tour that we are planning. And I'm trying to reach David Beringer, the head of the humanities, who is going to process the grant, but it's very difficult to get in touch with him. But I'm still trying to make an effort. Anyway, so we are moving forward.
Okay.
And in the Eastern Shore Post this week, there was an interview by Diane Davis, which I sent out to some of the members.
Yes.
And Diane Davis was part of our group interview at one point.
Okay.
We interviewed her.
All right. I know we have other members of the committee here in this meeting. Do any of you want to throw in a few more items on this subject? Okay.
We do need to move forward because a lot of people have shown interest in making similar project, and they're getting ahead of us in terms of getting their project out.
Yeah. Now, I think you were working towards getting some historical markers, right?
Well, we are trying to work towards getting the Clio tour first before getting the historical marker.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you, Mehdi.
Mehdi, Richard Press, is that a painting he's giving us?
Yes, it will be a painting.
You think you know how much it is?
I have no idea, but apparently he's going to give us something like an original print, but the new products now are not lithographs, but they are on canvas.
Okay, so that's great. We'll find out how much it might cost.
Yeah.
Okay, Bill, that kind of leads us right into the next line item, which is the art raffle. So why don't you give us an update on that?
Well, the art raffle is going gangbusters. In fact, I've lost count on how many items we have. I think we're with this one from Richard Press, I think we're over a dozen, and we still haven't gotten the two that I really want, one from Danny Dowdy or from Marty Burgess, or from the sculptor Turner. So we've got potential for 3 more. Does anybody know how to get a hold of Marty Burgess? I've been trying to get a hold of him through the Ellen Moore Gallery, but she doesn't answer the phone and she's never open. But be on the lookout for Marty Burgess or Danny Dowdy. I think I have Dowdy's number from Buck Dowdy, his cousin. And I've left a couple of messages, so you never really know, because he doesn't say this is Danny Dowdy.
I would think he might be related to Sheriff Dave too, don't you?
Oh, I'm sure they're all related.
Yeah.
Third, fourth.
Yeah.
I'll ask Dave if he knows him. That's a good
Right.
idea.
Danny Doughty is always in his studio in Onanka.
Right.
So we'll just have to trek up there.
Well,
And
we're going up there
Yeah.
this weekend, so maybe you should go early enough to see if you can stop by the shop.
right, Jackie, I ought to do that.
Yes, Bill.
So we'll work on that. So that's it. I'll remind the members of the committee, we're going to have a brief meeting at 1:30 today, Zoom meeting. And what we really want to do in that meeting, so put your thinking caps on if you haven't been, waking up every morning trying to figure out how you handle a multi-item raffle.
I've made some notes, Bill.
All right, so Chuck, you can lead the discussion at 1:30.
Well, I'll throw things out on the table and people can throw things back at me.
We will. Now, the other item that I'd like to share with you, that's any questions about the art raffle? I mean, it's going great. Now, the other thing is RYLA, Rotary Youth Leadership Awards Conference. It's virtual again this year, and we have 4 participants. Unfortunately, they're all from Broadwater Academy. We just haven't gotten the traction reestablished at Northampton High, but we do have a good counselor there. So before you all put me under, we're going to get some kids from Northampton, but that's, so Paul, we're going to spend your budget.
Okay.
I think it's $250 a piece.
So it's in person this year?
Virtual, but they have some justification for why it still costs $250.
No.
So
Okay.
I'll let you know exactly if it's not $250. So
Okay.
and then we're on hold at Rosenwall, not Rosenwall, at Marianne Smith until the weather gets a little warmer, and then we'll go up there, work detail, and get some sweat equity done before we wrap up the grant.
Okay, that was next on my list, so I can check that one off. Okay, thanks, Bill.
You bet.
All right, this is a club assembly, so I really want to hear some ideas from the membership here. So, new community projects. So, do a little dreaming. What are things you are personally interested in that we could arrange a community project around? We have several here right now we're working with, but I'm sure there's a lot of personal interest in other things that you could look at and say, you know what, it'd be great to help these people out on this community thing. Does anybody have such an interest that they would like to see and see a fit for the Rotary Club to maybe assist in a community project? All right, well, one of the things that I brought up a couple of times, and I'm going to formulate this, and that is cemetery cleanups or restorations. There are a number of cemeteries down this neck of the wood and everywhere that kind of get out of condition, get neglected a little bit. Tombstones get knocked over, it gets weed grown, and those are things that are kind of an interest to me with a genealogical connection to them. And just to raise awareness in the communities, a lot of people don't know their relatives may be buried in this cemetery that's in kind of bad shape, but again, some may. And they would like to see a cleanup of the cemetery, the tombstones picked up off of the ground and put back upright again, maybe cleaned up. So that's one of the things I'm pushing, but there's other things out there similar to that. Maybe an old church that's kind of seen better days that we could help out with. So keep those things in mind. Maybe you have something in mind right now. So I'll open up the floor and see if anybody has any quick ideas. Okay, well, we'll bring it up again in the future. And if you think of something, shoot me an email. Go ahead.
Not a new idea, but what do you think about talking about the advisability of crab cakes for 4th of July?
I'm fine with it. And it sounds to me like we're really getting on top of this Omicron thing. And that's usually the lowest point of these infections anyway, that towards that time of the year. Paul, what do you think?
Yeah, I had a meeting with Jim Rich this past week, and we talked about lots of things regarding his upcoming year. I think he's met with several people already in the club and wants to meet with a lot more. He's real enthusiastic about his upcoming year, and I told him that the biggest project that will hit him right off the bat is the crab cake making, which is kind of a joint effort, I think, Chuck, between you and him for that. it's considered a money-making project for the next fiscal year. That's where the money goes into that budget year. So I told him that we ought to go forward with the crab cake making. Then he asked who the real force behind that is, and of course I sent him to John Burtis. So you can expect a call from Jim Rich, John.
What's the topic? What is it? Cemeteries? I don't remember what we're talking about.
Yeah. So he's going to put you to work.
Oh my goodness! You know, my former father-in-law, who's long since been deceased, said that a drop of my sweat would cure leprosy. So we got to be really careful about that. You
know. Yeah, this kind of goes hand in hand too with what I just talked about. We talk about ways to raise money, and we get good ideas on that. But then we have to take those funds that we say we want to raise money for the community projects. We need to name the community projects that we want to raise these funds for. So we have that for the crab cakes and so forth. But keep that in mind. We also need those ideas on community projects that we can take this money we're raising and use the money for those projects. So they do go hand in hand. All right, thanks, Paul. Any other fund raising ideas that people have in mind? Either repeats of what we've been doing that have been successful or some new ideas. All right, again, just shoot me an email if something suddenly dawns on you. Hey, this is ripe for, we can do this for raising funds. And if you have something along with that to raise the funds for, even better. All right, the other big thing we want to start thinking about again is membership recruitment, trying to get new members to join the club. And if we can make them women, all the better. So I threw out on the table a couple of weeks ago, just setting up a stand, borrow Bill's table, hang the Rotary banner on it, have a handful of Rotary leaflets, pamphlets, and for maybe a couple hours, one day, every other week or so, at Strawberry Plaza, just set up the table, and with the people that live here starting to roam through town, maybe catch their attention, have them stop by and have a discussion with them what Rotary is all about, hand them the pamphlet and see if they'd be interested in being a guest at one of our meetings. Since we're talking about March 1 as an in-person, our first in-person meeting in a while, that's really where we want to get them to come. Not so much the Zoom meetings, but hey, come on and join us for lunch over at the coffee house on this Tuesday. Hand them the brochure, explain what Rotary is all about. And they can, just like most of us, I know I did, I came for lunch on an invite and liked what I saw. I'm surprised at how much activity there is in town. So a lot of people are here now and they're out and about. So,
Hey, Chuck.
Go ahead.
Hey, Chuck. Did I read something on Saturday, March 5th is Cape Charles Day or something? Yes. That might be a good opportunity to set up shop on Strawberry Plaza. I think there's some activities going on, and I'm afraid I'm not fully up to speed on what exactly is going on, but I think March 5th is something going on in town.
I think I did see something from Smitty Dyes on that on Facebook. Yeah. So let me double check on that. And yeah, you're right. That's a good idea. I'm not sure if it was March 5th, but I knew it was sometime in March, and I'll check that date.
Yes, it's March 5th.
What's that, Reggie?
It's March 5th.
Okay.
Yes, I have a couple of other. I agree totally with your idea about having a table set up at Strawberry Plaza on an ongoing basis. There's some other areas that I'd like to just throw out. Organizations, for example, there's different types of organizations around for us to put together a plan where we can go to the organization and invite the organization to extend invites to the members, perhaps, to come and visit us at Rotary. The other group would be churches. You know, someone in the church, we could contact someone in the church to, you know, perhaps put a poster up or make an announcement inviting people to come out to our Rotary meetings. And obviously we need to have a follow-up plan for that. And obviously, I think Jim is working on a website, so to have it on the website would be another good place to put it, right?
Yeah.
And then social media, we don't do much with social media, obviously, but there are probably really good opportunities on social media. And I know in Main Street, they have a really good social media team, a couple of ladies who are really good at that, and they do a tremendous job at marketing these types of things. So, you know, just some thoughts that I'm throwing out for, you know, consideration and thoughts. And I think that, you know, a combination of those could certainly put us in a position where we could get a fair number of new members. The other thing about adding women, I love that chart, but I would like to broaden it and say add more diversity, period, as we move forward, right? Better combination of individuals who represent the demographics of the entire area, not just, you know, the Bay Creek area itself.
Yeah, I agree. Somebody else had their hand up. Bill, go ahead.
Yeah, Chuck, there's a thing that we instituted several years ago. It's in our bylaws now. We changed them. There is another membership category called corporate membership. And I think I said something briefly about this a week or so ago, but I've been talking with Marianne and a little bit with Clelia there at the Art Center, at the Art Gallery, about corporate membership. I know they're considering it. It may not happen, but I think if we went to some of the businesses, maybe the larger businesses like the concrete plant or something like that, or the Yacht Center, and talk to them about becoming a corporate member. Paul, we do have the details of that in our bylaws still, I think.
We do.
And that gives us a good opportunity to reach a bigger portion of the community, because under that corporate membership, the company names one person as the member of record. And that person is the person who is a recorded member. But with that membership, anyone in that company can attend the meeting in that person's place and, you know, eat their lunch or do whatever. And if the person who's a listed member moves or transfers or quits the company, they can name another person. And it's sort of a zero sum as far as membership goes, but we have a bigger amount of people to draw from. If you've got a small, like look at the concrete plant, all the people that work there, management, at least just in the management end, you got a lot you can draw from there. So maybe we might want to try to look at some ways of pushing towards really getting that corporate membership cranked up. Because I know some clubs in the district up around Richmond, where there are a lot of businesses, they have a pretty lively effort with the corporate membership. So I think that would be something we could look at.
Yeah, I agree.
And Bill, I agree with you as well, Bill. And we've seen some evidence of the corporate entities' willingness to participate in Cape Charles's health, right? The town of Cape Charles Health. We have a bench sponsorship program that we created at Main Street, right? In honor of someone special or in memory of someone special. And you can donate and get a plaque that goes on the bench, right? And 2 out of the first 5 people who actually donated for benches were corporations locally.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you know,
So,
Main Street would be a good candidate for corporate membership, Reggie.
Yeah, especially with all their corporate connections.
A lot of Main Street people are already in the club, but I mean, you know, we could take them as a corporate member. Pretty much the rules are very, very liberal, but that's a good idea, Reggie. Yeah, I agree with you.
One of the things we talked about a few weeks ago was replacing our Rotary sign. And I would recommend if we do that, we put on that sign the URL for the new website that Jim Rich is developing. So right on the sign, www, whatever it's going to be, capecharlesrotary.com. So not only do they see, hey, there's a Rotary Club in town, but they know how to get on get on the web and find it. So they can find out about us that way as well.
Well,
All right.
Chuck, also there's an app available through Rotary. It's called Find a Club. I used it when I was out in California. If you have the app on your phone, you can type in any location or zip code, in the country, and it'll show you all the local clubs and when they meet and where they meet.
Okay. All right. Written that down.
Speaking
Okay.
of
Any
that,
other?
can I ask Bill a question quickly?
Sure.
So as Rotary members, wherever we are in the country or potentially in the world, I mean, we could visit the Rotary Club in that location. Is that?
Absolutely. Just show up and you'll be welcome. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, we've had several visitors in our club from other locations, not like from across the world, but in other places in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I've done that in Annapolis and Northern Virginia, and it was nice.
Yeah.
Reggie,
okay. Go ahead.
Some clubs make you pay for your lunch. They're not generous the way we are.
Oh, not a problem, Bill. Thanks for telling me though.
Well, I didn't have to pay for my lunch, but I got fined $5 by the sergeant at arms in Annapolis for not being a member of their club. So,
speaking of bigger Rotary organization, is there any interest in anyone going to the Rotary International Convention in Houston?
Yeah, I'm interested, but I can't generate any excitement around here.
Well, I have registered because I have friends in Houston that I wanted to visit, and so I decided to go. And
great. Well, you have friends everywhere, Mehdi, all over the planet.
Mehdi, I'm working on it. I've got to, work on it some more.
It's a great thought, Mehdi. I have friends in Houston as well.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the one thing that bothers me about it is not going to places, it's getting there. Flying these days. I will just do about anything to have to avoid flying until all this craziness stops.
Mehdi, what's the date again?
It's June 4 to 7, I believe, 4 to 7 or 8 in June. Yeah.
Thanks for bringing it up, Mehdi.
Yeah, thank you, Mehdi.
So if anyone is going, you please let us know so we can get together over there.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
All right. Well, I want to throw it out on the floor for anybody for any other items they'd like to bring up under the umbrella of this is a meeting for everybody to, it's the assembly meeting. So anything else from the membership?
Well,
one thing I'll just, Chuck, while you're on membership, you might talk to Jim Rich about when we go back to meet in person. I don't know if that's newsworthy. I mean, it's newsworthy for us, but if we could get a little piece in the post that the Cape Charles Rotary Club, after a 2-year absence, we'll take a little license there, has returned to in-person meetings, get a little ink.
I'll talk to him about it. I met with him Monday of last week, and I asked him, I wasn't sure if he's retired now. He is retired, but he does still have his connections with the press down here.
Oh, yeah.
Eastern Shore. Okay. All right. Reggie?
Yes, one other thing. I talked a little about the plaque program. If anyone in the club is interested, I would suggest that you consider it sooner rather than later. All the benches in Strawberry Street Plaza, there are 10 benches there. 5 of them have already been purchased for plaques, right? In memory of certain people or in honor of certain people or organizations. So we haven't officially published a release, but it's coming very soon. So you guys, if you have anyone who's interested, or if you're interested, I would suggest that you check it out as sooner rather than later.
How much does a bench cost?
If you sponsor a new bench, it's $1,750. If you sponsor an existing bench, it's $695.
What a bargain.
Yes, it really is. Compared to some other places, it's a tremendous bargain.
Should the Rotary sponsor a bench?
I'm sorry?
Should the Rotary buy a bench?
I would suggest that it should certainly be considered and discussed.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that right now?
Sure.
You know, you talk about advertising and promotion to get members. I can't, yeah, my ideal, I wish we had a clock in town like some Rotary clubs do, but maybe we can afford a $600 bench if it's in a prominent location. Can you get a location, Reggie?
Well, there are 6 large benches in Strawberry Street Plaza. 5 of the 6 have already been taken. Okay, three of them are new, 2 of them are existing. There's 1 left, and there are 4 of the shorter benches. You know how Strawberry Street Plaza is laid out, right? Okay, they're large, long benches, and then there's a short bench on each side, inside. So there's 4 short benches left. And obviously there are benches on Mason Avenue and Strawberry Street. So, you know, I would suggest that, you know, just go down and, I mean, down here anyway, just take a look around and see if you see one that fits a location that you would like to recommend. And if it's not taken by the time that you express an interest, then it's probably going to be available.
Who's the contact for you?
Yes, you can contact me, or you can contact Patty, who is the executive assistant over at Main Street. Yes, you can contact me. I'm actually leading the project for the last year.
Can you put one on hold for us until Paul decides whether or not we have the money?
This decision would have to be made by the board, by the way.
Yeah, of course, and that's why we've got to put it on hold, because it takes us forever to decide to go to the bathroom. So,
well, I have to be frank with you, Bill. We can't put it on hold because our policy is for everyone. First person who pays gets to reserve the position, right? So, but I'm giving you advance notice.
If the membership thinks this is kind of a good idea or not, can we kind of talk about it?
All right. Yep.
John thinks it's a good idea.
I think it's a good idea too.
Diane
it's just
thinks
a matter of quickly coming up with the funds.
Can you put it on layaway?
Yeah. You think it's a good idea, Jackie?
I think it's a good idea.
Betty brought it up, so she knows it's a good idea. So Chuck, you ought to run with this thing. Maybe not wait for a board meeting, but have a meeting motion and vote. You know, after the master says whether or not we can do it.
Yeah. So just so I'm straight on this, these are existing benches, so the cost would be $600.
Yeah, the $600 one. I don't think we need 17.
$695. $695 for the existing.
Okay.
600.
You said $695, Bill.
Okay.
All right, Paul, do you have an answer right now, or do you want to talk about that? There's no point having.
Yeah, I would like to go look at the benches and see how prominently displayed the name is and that sort of thing.
Yeah, but
look at our, it all, you know, right now.
The point
we'd have to look at the money situation.
Yeah, but a bench. You just want to make sure it's that our logo is seen. That's all. and it's mounted someplace
Well,
permanently.
it's more, a bench is not just a bench.
Yes, it is.
Depends on where the bench is located.
Yes, it's location, location, location.
There you go.
Paul, I can send you a picture of the actual plaque. Public Works is in the process of actually placing the benches, putting the plaques on them. That has not yet been done, but it's being scheduled, okay?
Oh, we couldn't do the Rotary wheel?
Could you do the rotary wheel?
Yeah, I'm back.
I don't see why, I mean, as long as it fits on the plaque, I don't see why not. And because it's in honor of the Cape Charles Rotary Club, I mean, with the rotary wheel or something like that, you would have to design it, right?
No, we have big wheels like the one that's on the youth garden.
Okay, no, it has to fit within the plaques, the standard plaque size that all benches will have, so it's consistent across.
I'm losing my excitement.
So there aren't any to look at right now. They're all in order, right?
No, they're all in. They just haven't been placed in the position by the town of Public Works Department.
Okay, but you can send us pictures as to what it would look like.
Oh yes, we have pictures of the actual plaques. I could send you a couple that you could look at. Yes.
All right, why don't you do that? Send it to me and Paul and Bill Payne. And then also,
I'd like to see it as well.
Okay,
I'm not on that committee.
Send it to everybody. We can see
all right,
it.
and then if you have the locations that are available to place the benches, you know, we would prefer to have it in a very plain site in the busy part of town where people will see it as opposed to a side street.
You're a bench by the porta potties. That's where you want it.
That's going to be a really heavily trafficked area, right, Bill?
Yeah.
This is all
Well,
about.
we can put our plaque on a porta potty.
We just want eyes on the rotary wheel.
Only people who would see that would be the guys. I don't use porta potties.
Some women do.
Neither do I.
Yeah, I mean, come on, Bill. It's a better jokes.
Okay, Reggie, go ahead and send that to Paul and I, what a bench looks like, and then also the spots that you have available, if you have a little map that shows where that bench could be placed. And yes. Paul and I will talk about it. And Paul, one thing we could do, you need to hand me off something for your time away that you have coming up, the checkbook. Maybe we can meet at the location. You can hand me the checkbook and we can kind of look it over the spot where the bench would be.
Yeah.
On the bench.
Okay. All right. Let's see. John, how about the YMCA? You have any updates on that?
No, we still need to finish our fundraising, but as I say, the actual operations are going well. The budget's being met, and you know, it seems to be very well received in the community.
Okay, I'll tell you, I did contact, I can't remember the lady's name that I sent the form to, and she sent back and said, yeah, you'll be notified when your payment is due, and I haven't heard anything back from her.
Okay, I'll follow up.
Okay. All right, that's all I had on my list. If anybody else has any ideas they want to throw out on the table, anything, it doesn't have to be fundraising or anything else, but this is an open forum. So any ideas from anyone?
On the benches right this minute. I just looked and there are 6 big ones out there and 4 short ones out there.
Correct.
In the plaza as we speak. Didn't see any names on anybody.
That's right. Public Works is in the process of putting the plaques and the benches in the proper locations.
Well, like I said, the benches are there.
Well, yes, they're there, except 3 of them have to be moved because corporate sponsors they paid for new benches. So, and so they're going to be replaced with new benches, but yes.
Okay.
All right.
There's one large bench that's not yet sponsored in the Strawberry Street Plaza.
Right.
Itself, Rick.
Okay, thanks everyone. Bill, why don't you use your magic fingers and slip us into
you haven't done happy dollars yet.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. Use your magic fingers and slip us into happy dollars. Okay. Anybody with some happy dollars? Go ahead, John.
I saw in the minutes, what I said to you, I think was encourage Murphy to give $10 because he loved me and missed me, which I think he did, but also apparently I gave $25 in absentia. I don't recall giving anybody my power of attorney, Murphy in particular, to do that, but
Who spoke for him?
I must have misread your email.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to make it good today. Whoever went out there, and then when the sheriff visits your house for that kind of action, when we find out who did it, we'll deal with that later. I'm sorry that Bill Stram is not here because he wanted to make some comments about the fact that Arkansas beat West Virginia. Lately, everybody, including most girls' teams, are beating West Virginia, so I don't think it's anything to brag about. So, but I will say Arkansas did beat Auburn, which was really impressive. And then they turned around and lost to Alabama the next game. Alabama's had a really good team. So I want to respect Paul's team. And then last but not least, certainly, UVA played, what's that school down at Blacksburg? Oh, Tech. And when those two play, I'm really torn. I mean, they can't tie in basketball. They can't both lose. So I have to figure out, well, what am I going to do? So Tech is on a roll. So in deference to my friend, Mr. Murphy, and other texters who may be in the crowd, I don't think there are any, that'll be part of my 25. So it's all about basketball, everybody but West Virginia, because right now we stink. And Tech is actually moving toward maybe getting an at-large bid to the tournament. They're playing really well. So good for them.
Okay, I just looked at your email to me from a week and a half ago, and what you had said, I misread it. It said, get Bill Murphy to donate $25.
Yeah,
because,
right.
Okay.
Well, now,
so when you see Sheriff Dowdy, it's not going to be about these sculptures. It's going to be a warrant and debt for you, Chuck. If you're familiar with that. The actual cost of the warrant and debt and the legal fees will be way above $25. So maybe you ought to give $25 for screwing it up. I don't know. I'll leave that to your conscience,
All right.
All right.
Go ahead, Bill Murphy.
To kind of help set the record straight on that a little bit, what I did was I gave $10 because I said I do miss John, but not that much. So I did give 10, but since he beat me to it to mention that Virginia Tech beat Virginia, I'm going to kick in another 10 for that because I don't care what it is. Anytime Virginia Tech beats Virginia at anything is a great day. So
it's a good thing.
Yeah. So I'll kick in $10 for that. Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
Bill, I'll kick in $10 for my brother and his wife, who are also Virginia Techers.
There are more than just me.
Hey, Chuck, if I could mention really quick, I'm going to Charlottesville this weekend to visit a granddaughter and going to Monticello again. So sometime not all the club members are aware of my grandmother's connection to Monticello. So sometime you want a program, if you think that's worthy, I can talk about that. There's a lot of story about that. My grandmother is buried at Monticello.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And that's a fun story too. I've heard bits and pieces of it before, and that's a fun story the way John tells it. So
I know a lot more than I did before. I now know from Monticello's side too. But anyway, yeah, I'd be happy to talk about that. Some club meeting. It's an interesting story.
Great.
Can't make it up. It's real stuff.
You want to put him in a speaker spot, Chuck?
Yeah, I'd be glad to.
Yeah.
Let me know.
We had Jim Rich for a bit. He was driving, but he's dropped off.
Yeah, I'm working with him on the speakers.
Okay. Yeah, please do that, Reggie. I appreciate it. Okay, more happy dollars. Bill Payne.
Now Jackie goes first.
Okay, Jackie.
I just want to say, well,
no,
I'm not really.
How many dollars?
Oh, $1.50.
No.
Oh, no. You can't do that.
$10.
Oh, wow.
Oh, Bill Payne gave me a Valentine's card yesterday.
Oh.
I didn't get him one, but I usually
of course.
Get him. I was so shocked at it. It brought tears to my eyes. the card, the envelope said, "My love," and so I wanted to give it back to him because I thought he made a mistake. I will always love you. I said, no, this is not right. Who are you around with?
And don't leave out the baby, baby, baby.
He needs a favor from you, Jackie.
Yeah. Hey, Jackie, I ordered a sweeper for Seal. It's supposed to be delivered today. It's delayed, so her gift didn't come. So I'm sorry that I didn't get you a card too. I love you too.
We all love you, Jackie.
Yeah.
I tell you, friends.
Okay, Bill, I think I saw your hand go up too.
Yes, I have $10, and $5. I just want to spread over the entire membership and wish you all a belated happy birthday.
Happy Valentine's Day.
I mean, happy Valentine's Day. Thank you. I get it mixed up. And
Thanks,
the other $5 is I want to publicly have another happy birthday for Stanley, my buddy, whose birthday was Sunday. And Stan is 75, right, Stan?
All right.
4, I'm sorry.
74.
Oh,
All right.
74. Don't put me up there too fast. I'm slow it down a little bit. 74.
They come fast enough already, right? Well, happy birthday, Stan. Okay.
Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You betcha. Any more happy dollars? Go ahead, Betty.
I have $5 for spring because I harvested these daffodils from my garden today.
Oh wow, very nice.
And it's so beautiful today. So I'm just so excited about spring being near.
Me too. Okay, any more happy dollars? All right, well, anything else for the good of Rotary? All right, if not, Bill, why don't we bring up the four-way test? We'll close the meeting out. Number 1, is it the truth? Number 2, is it fair to all concerned? Number 3, will it build goodwill and better friendships? 4, will it be beneficial to all concerned? And number 5, my man Stan, what's number 5?
Will we have fun?
All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.
All right.
Bye.
Bill, we'll see you at 1:30.
1:30, take a break.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.